Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Thursday, January 2nd. We're going to take a look at ENVX today. So I took a little position on ENVX today, and I wanted to sort of share why. Also wanted to just get that out of the way at the beginning as a note of disclaimer. I'm not putting this video out there to try to pump the stock, but, I sometimes share why I look for entry points and why I look for points to unload a stock. And so if I sort of see something and make a decision, why not come share that as well? You obviously don't need to follow me. So ENVX is in quite an interesting position. Let me just go through the levels that I see here at the moment, and then I'll talk about sort of why I actually decided to jump in today. So the nearest in levels that I see, we can even just zoom in here. We see it working off of them pretty concretely the last several trading days. We see it shrugging off of this 1160 region toward the end of the day on the 26th, coming in just sort of like low volume, like blah day on the 27th, and then 30th coming in, banging off of this 1049. So pretty strong test there intraday at least, and it came off of it pretty well, coming up near the pre-market highs by the end of the day. So nice move there. It banged off of it again on the 31st, Tuesday, Tuesday 31st, banged off of again. So the buyers showed up strong again, and then today we came in pretty hot, and little selling action at this resistance level of 1160, but was able to push through it, came back down, retested that range, right, a little dip below, but it retested and captured it back again and came within 5 cents of that 1222 level that we have on the chart. So overall, just nice motion coming in, and that's pretty solid. Now beyond that 1222 level, we have 1280, 1336, and then price action gets a little thin in here. I know this is a big space. I'll come fill it in at some point, probably somewhere around like 1415 here. But yeah, there's not a ton of price action in that range previously, that it's not just kind of working through relatively quickly. So that's why I just sort of left it for now. But beyond 1336, I have this 1485 to the upside. If it does come down, 1160, 1049, and 906. Now, here's what I saw that actually made me interested. Looking at my EMAs here on the daily. So, short-term EMAs, this white EMA, finally has been dragged above the 183 EMA, which is this gray one. So short-term EMA getting a bullish crossover above the long-term EMA. This is something I look for all the time. I'll make a video about this in the near future, but this is like the simplest trading setup that I most commonly look for. I don't look for it because it's the simplest. I look for it because over the years, I actually have come to think this is probably what I have the greatest success with. Maybe that is partly because it's simple, but so it came through with this crossover, getting nice strong action, and it wasn't, at least when I was looking at this earlier today, it wasn't so far off of this 8. Right now it's positioned way up here, but it's pretty tight into the 8, so it wasn't like already ballooned seeming price action above the short-term EMAs, and we had these bullish crossovers happening. Now, while they aren't above the 183 EMA yet, the 21, which is the peach colored one, and the red 34 EMA are also already themselves in a bullish formation. So all the short-term EMAs are in a bullish formation, and all that has yet to be seen is if the 21 and the 34 can get dragged through the 183 EMA, thus getting the whole setup in a fully bullish formation. But I love to try to catch things as that initial domino falls, that initial 8 EMA crosses over the 183 with action that looks like it could be spicy, right? Some folks call that volatile, right? It has a potential appearance for some strong motion, some really outsized action coming up. And that's, to me, what this looked like. Came from the ground level down here close to 750 and then pounded its way to and through the 183, reconfirming it a couple of times and then dragging the short term above the long-term EMA. So to me, that sort of screamed, it's worth a chance. It might not work out for me, right? This trade could very easily go against me. Some horrible thing could happen with the stock or the stock market, or the setup could just go bust, right? We saw a crossover here that ultimately went bust, right? It came down and gave you an opportunity to get out as it was, catching resistance on the 8. You could have gotten stuck in this if you weren't paying attention, or got a little bit too high on the hopium. So yeah, this can happen and then it can bust for sure. This day alone, it was down 14%. But like I said, on this setup, it did give you time to get out. It could have very clearly been noticing, okay, we're getting squeezed out here. We're getting resistance off of the 8 EMA. This is headed back toward bearish crossover territory. And then it certainly did. So that would have brought you from, if you bought on this bullish crossover, I guess the price action was already up here in the 11s, you could have been stuck down here in the 7s. So that can certainly happen. Now, that coupled with the view here on the Thinkorswim side of things makes it additionally interesting to me. So in my eyes, seeing that alone on the Webull chart, gives me enough to say, okay, I'm going to go give this trade a shot, because those setups, I just don't see them that often, at least not with the volume and the range that I'm looking for. Here, we see something that's actually quite interesting. We have, zoomed in too far there. We have a really lengthy trigger on the TTM squeeze indicator that just started firing, right? We're a few candles in to a lengthy trigger on the TTM squeeze indicator. And that brought the price action from sort of holding the put trigger in December as support to some motion slightly above the call trigger at the end of December. And now we're into January. We're coming in at the base ATR and starting to get some interplay today with the call trigger. Now, if we can get the motion on this sort of in our favor, what we're looking at is a call trigger above 1203 and a +1 ATR at 1579 with a mid-range in there of an initial ATR hit of 1391. So can we get that motion, right? That's going to be the big question here. And I think tomorrow and like early next week are going to be very telling, just looking at this setup of, is it going to reject off of this call trigger? Or is it going to be able to put in motion above it? It puts in motion above it, I'm feeling really good. If it rejects off of it and doesn't just start wrestling with it, like sort of a bit of this, right? A little bit above, a little bit below, a little bit above, a little bit below, even sort of coming down here a little bit and coming back, right? The wrestle or the weave can look, different ways for different stocks. But I always try to tell people there's a difference between a stock doing this and a stock doing this. Pop, right? Pops down. So that can be a harder thing to decipher. But if it starts to wrestle with it, I'll still feel okay. If it has a clear rejection off of it and seems to lose the momentum there, then yeah, I'll sort of flip over here and see how it looks on those EMAs and kind of make a decision at that point. But yeah, my hopeful, my hopium is we can pull out this, or we can play out this full call trigger. That would be awesome. Hit that +1 ATR. I would feel fantastic about that. It's a really solid percentage gain, in a relatively short period of time. Exactly the sort of like setup that I look for and sometimes wait a very long time for. So the potential's there. Will it happen? I don't know. Just because the setup's there doesn't mean it has to play out. Just always keep that in mind, and just watch for signals of degrading of any setup. All right, folks, so I hope that your trading week is off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.